What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Ryan Garcia, aka King Ryan, will be back in action in July, either on the 11th of July or most likely on the 18th. He will be defending his WBC welterweight belt that he won off of Mario Barrios in spectacular fashion. Dropped Barrios in the first round, won every round, including the round he knocked him down in, which was the first round, and won a unanimous decision over Mario Barrios, who was a two-division world champion. Now, it was speculated that he would be taking on Shakur Stevenson. Him and Stevenson went back and forth on Twitter about the weight, and they settled in on 140 pounds with no rehydration clause. That quickly fell by the wayside as Ryan Garcia backtracked and said, no, we're going to fight at 147 with no rehydration clause. I am the champion there, and you want to fight me, you got to come up to 147. Shakur Stevenson, who came from 126 pounds, said, no way, I'm not doing that. I'll fight you at 147, but it would have to be a rehydration clause. Now, we could fight at 140 and 144 with no rehydration clause, but I'm not a big guy, and I'm not planning on going up to 147 no time soon. Maybe at the end of my career, I'll be at 147, but not right now. Only way I go up there is with a rehydration clause. So that fight fell by the wayside. He then turned his attention to the grudge match with WBO welterweight champion, the top guy in the welterweight division, Devin the Dream Haney, aka Debo Haney. They went back and forth on Twitter. Devin Haney said he DM'd Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia said, before we get any of these discussions started, I want to let you know, so there won't be no misunderstanding, that I am the A-side. Devin Haney said, what the hell is you talking about? We ain't even started negotiation. What you worried about the A-side? With Turkey involved, you going to work out your deal with Turkey, and I'm going to work out my deal with Turkey. Damn, an A-side and B-side. So that let Devin Haney know that he wasn't serious, that he was on some BS, and he quickly turned his attention to an offer that was sent to him by WBA welterweight champion Rolando Rolly Romero. They're very close to finalizing an agreement for May 30th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. And now, from what I'm hearing, Ryan Garcia has now turned his attention to former lightweight champion in the WBO, Keshawn Davis, aka the businessman. He recently did an interview on Fight Hype and said he will be going up to 147 pounds and he will be fighting a champion. And by process of elimination, it's going to be no other than the WBC welterweight champion, Ryan Garcia. When you look at the 147-pound champions, Lewis Crocker, who's the IBF champion, has a mandatory against Liam Paro. That fight is slated to take place in Australia. Now, Crocker hurt his hand in sparring, so that fight is going to be delayed, but it's definitely going down in the summer of 2026. Now, the other champion, Rolly Romero and Devin Haney, like I mentioned earlier, are in negotiations, so they're not going to be available. That leaves the only champion that does not have an opponent secured, and that is WBC welterweight champion Ryan Garcia. That's going to be a hell of a press conference, a hell of a lead up. You got two of the most charismatic fighters in boxing. Keshawn Davis has quickly climbed the ranks, has quickly rose his profile, doing a lot of these skits, fighting YouTubers and influencers and fighting guys like Blueface. He has quickly, in the last 3 years, grown his brand. Now, he had a hiccup when he was supposed to take on Edward De Los Santos in his, I believe, first defense of his WBO lightweight title. Came in overweight. De Los Santos and his team decided to not move forward with the fight because of him missing weight. He got into a brawl in the hallway during the card that he was supposed to headline in his hometown of Norfolk, Virginia, and he was then shelled by his promoter, Top Rank Boxing. Since then, he has come back from that situation. He took on Jermaine Ortiz in his comeback fight. Did Jermaine Ortiz real dirty. Nobody did Jermaine Ortiz dirty as the way Keshawn Davis did him. As Jermaine Ortiz arguably beat Teofimo Lopez and arguably beat Vasily Lomachenko in a lot of people's eyes. I thought he beat Teofimo Lopez. I thought he beat him decisively. I had him winning that fight 9-3. Now, the Lomachenko fight, that was a 7-5 fight, 6-6 fight, however you want to look at it. A lot of close swing rounds. I had Lomachenko edging it out. I thought he came on in the second half of the fight, and I thought he was able to eke out a victory over Jermaine Ortiz 7-5, but that was a close fight. But I don't think Jermaine Ortiz lost to Teofimo Lopez fight. I thought he won that fight decisively. But that's neither here nor there. When he went against the businessman, Keshawn Davis, Davis took it out of the hand of the judges, stopping him with a body shot in the 12th round in a fight that he dominated and controlled throughout. And that was his impressive performance that we have seen from Keshawn Davis thus far. Now, he's been on quite of a streak as far as putting on dominated performances. His style reminds me of Terrence Bud Crawford. You look at his last 4 or 5 fights, he has won those fights in dominated performances, beating Lemos, beating the WBO champion Barincek, beating Jermaine Ortiz. He's put on some dominated performance. Even the Maduro fight, a fight that went the distance. Maduro is a tough competitor, a guy that has a lot of heart and has an iron chin, and he was able to beat him in dominating performance. And when you look at the two guys on Fight Night, Maduro came in probably as a middleweight on Fight Night. And Keshawn Davis on Fight Night probably came in as a junior welterweight. So he was probably giving away 15 pounds on Fight Night, and he was able to still hold his own and dominate and outskill Maduro. That was an impressive performance, even though he didn't get the stoppages like he did in the 3 fights afterwards. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But that's what I'm hearing. Ryan Garcia versus Keshawn Davis. Now, Keshawn Davis recently came out and said that he didn't trust the performance of Ryan Garcia against Barrios, that it looked fishy, it didn't look pure, basically insinuating that Ryan Garcia was on performance-enhancing drugs. Ryan Garcia being a competitor, being a guy that feels that he was set up or he was cross-terminated, and that's why he got popped hot after the Devin Haney fight, wants to show to Keshawn Davis that he does have the skills to pay the bills, that he is the better fighter at 147, and that he can beat him, and we can have full-blown drug testing for this fight, so there won't be no excuses when Ryan Garcia beats a guy that 2 fights ago was fighting at 135. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But that's what I think Ryan Garcia is betting on. He's saying this guy's a smaller guy coming up. He was just at 135 2 fights ago. He's going to jump up and fight me at 147. Our skill sets are similar, but me being the stronger, more powerful, naturally bigger guy, I should be able to dominate him at 147. He's a guy that's very close to Shakur Stevenson. He's a guy that's on the rise. They didn't get him right now while he's probably ain't fully blossomed, that he's still a little bit wet behind the ears, a little green. Let me get him now as compared to getting him later. So we will see if that prognostication plays dividends for the matchup in July between Ryan Garcia and Keshawn Davis. But you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Garcia versus Keshawn Davis. What do you like the matchup? Or do you think that Ryan Garcia should maybe go after another opponent, maybe a Conor Bean if he's successful versus Regis Prograis on April 11th? Should he still try to pursue the grudge match with Devin Haney, even though Haney is close to finalizing agreement with WBA champion Rolly Romero? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about the matchup between Garcia versus Davis. Do you like the matchup, or you think each fighter should go in a different direction? Maybe Keshawn Davis should test the waters at 147, fight a top 10 guy, and then pursue a fight with a champion instead of jumping right in with one of the top guys at 147 pounds in Ryan Garcia. Do you think Ryan Garcia should be fighting a guy that's more established at 147 instead of fighting a guy that 2 fights ago was at 135 pounds. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I like the matchup myself. Very intriguing matchup. Gonna be excited for the fight. Can't wait till it get announced. And can't wait for the undercard, because I would think that this undercard would be very, very strong as well. As you have top-ranked fighter in Keshawn Davis, a ring ambassador for Turkey Ali Sheik, and then you have Ryan Garcia, who represents Golden Boy Promotions, who has a strong, solid stable of fighters. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard Briscoe. Follow me on TikTok at JB Sports New Media. Follow me on Instagram, JB Sports 9707. Follow me on Twitch at Briscoe MA 77071. Follow me on my YouTube channels. That's plural, not singular. At JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, 9656, and at JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, 8000. And like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I'll holla.